through. Everybody's done it with some small little pliers. You can just cut right through and you're home free. Our government is wasting money building this fence, and all they're doing is giving them a spot to step and get over into the country. It's a beard. They're putting money, the Department of Homeland Security is saying, yeah, we have a fence. But yeah, look at it. I could climb over this. This is ridiculous. Where's the security at? Where is the secure border that they tell us is up, but I have not seen yet? Continue watching our videos because we're going to keep giving you eye-opening, mind-blowing reports down here at the border. I'm Joe Biggs with INFOWARS.com.
Now coming up, we know about the Pentagon's paid internet trolls, but have you considered the possibility of entire news sites popping up to pump out this propaganda?
City of Austin tap water versus filtered City of Austin tap water.
I can taste dirt in it.
God knows what's in this.
This has an aftertaste. Tastes like Austin water?
Yeah, it does. Ugh.
These people just sampled City of Austin tap water straight from the faucet. Next, we had them try a sample of tap water filtered through the ProPure G2.0 filtration system.
High quality H2O.
That one is better.
Tastes like nothing.
Yep, I know what good water tastes like. It's good water.
Most tap water contains added substances like fluoride, chlorine, Monsanto's deadly pesticide, glyphosate, and many others. Studies prove that these substances are linked to an assortment of major health issues, including tooth decay, lowered IQ, and even cancer.
It tastes like you're drinking out of the lake when you're drinking tap water.
Yeah, it has that processed flavor to it.
The ProPure G2.0 filtration system removes these deadly substances and many more, leaving only fresh-tasting, deliciously clean water.
Okay, this is very tasty.
It's good water.
Refreshing.
It's good.
Go to InfoWarsStore.com today. Use promo code WATER and save 10% off your ProPure purchase. Again, that's InfoWarsStore.com or call 1-888-253-3139.
This is Alex Jones for InfoWarsLife.com. The latest in preparedness is now here. An electrically stabilized colloidal silver solution that can be added to both your home cabinet and preparedness pack alike. Concentrated to 30 parts per million in what has been dubbed the survival silver solution. The new InfoWars Life Silver Bullet Colloidal Silver is the answer for you and your family. And it's entirely free of toxic artificial additives that are loaded into many products. The InfoWars Life Silver Bullet Silver is so powerful that it is concentrated into a 2-ounce bottle and is not recommended for extended continual use. This is not a low-grade formula. We are working with one of the top laboratory manufacturers in the United States to bring you the best form of colloidal silver using electrical processes within a base of deionized water for your preparedness storage or your home kitchen. Purchase your bottle of InfoWarsLife.com Silver Bullet Colloidal Silver today and find other amazing supplements at InfoWarsLife.com.
Well, the globalists have already admitted that they're losing the info war, and the only way for them to gain any ground is to tackle the internet. Now, of course, we've reported before about cognitive infiltration. Government agents will infiltrate chat rooms and online comment sections and try and undermine any percolating conspiracy theories by raising doubts. But listen to what the CIA director William Casey said in 1981. He says, "We will know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is a lie." Now, we already know the establishment media is happy to pump out propaganda on behalf of the government. But what about the internet? Jakari Jackson has more.
Thank you, Leanne. If you're like me, you try to watch what you eat. You try to avoid things like genetically modified organisms, foods. But this is becoming increasingly more difficult to do, especially with reports like these. DailyLeak.org, Michelle Obama teaming up with Monsanto to promote children's food. According to reports from the Associated Press, Monsanto will spend $50 million over 5 years on a campaign to market healthy, genetically modified food to children. Now, as skeptical as I am that there is such a thing as healthy GMOs, especially when you consider how rats who eat this stuff have developed horrific tumors and other adverse health effects. I'm even more concerned that this is factual information. Yes, they quote the Associated Press, but this quote is taken out of context from a previous story. Not only that, if you take a look at the Daily Leak website, you'll find stories about how pop stars want to join the KKK and video game companies erecting giant sex toys, which leads me to believe that this is a hoax story. This is a satire piece, somewhat like a text version of a Saturday Night Live skit, which is fine, because it's not the jokesters that concern me. What concerns me is the CIA openly propagandizing the citizens they are supposed to be protecting. On July 2nd, 2013, a little notice reform passed in January went into effect. The Smith-Mundt Modernization Act of 2012, passed as part of the 2013 National Defense Authorization Act, will allow the CIA to flood America with even more government propaganda. And we'll end with this: governments hire web trolls to sway public opinion. Now, anybody who's ever posted anything on YouTube has probably experienced the negative comment section, but your average YouTuber is a very immature teenager. But every now and then, one of those thumbs down you get could be a hired government agent, especially if your posts are political in nature. So whether it's people doing things for jokes and laughs, or your U.S. government openly propagandizing you, you have to be careful what you read on the internet. Back to you, Leanne.
That's right, Jakari. You always want to check your sources because it might be Cass Sunstein and his band of cognitive infiltrators. Now, coming up, Dan Badandi sits down with a soldier who's fighting back against the government that poisoned him.
Alex Jones here to break down some exciting developments in the area of research concerning supplemental iodine. It's nothing less than phenomenal. I began to get into iodine a few years ago because it was helping me and my family so much get healthy and detoxify. And I used some of the mainline iodine supplements and they upset my stomach and I had some issues with it. Until I discovered a product being developed by Dr. Group, who I was already interviewing as an expert on my radio show, and I began taking the product before he actually rolled it out. You now know it as Survival Shield True Nascent Iodine that your body can really absorb. Then, about a year ago, he said, listen, if you think this is powerful, I'm going to come out with rare earth, deep earth crystals that are incredibly powerful that no one else has as a source for their iodine from between 7,000 and 12,000 feet, literally drilled out of the ground. You put it on a hot plate and it turns into the pure gas. No one else has 99.99% pure iodine. And the results that I personally have had have been life-changing. I was over 270 pounds. And with the iodine, exercise, and better diet, I have lost now more than 50 pounds total, and I'm continuing to lose the weight. I have more energy, my libido, all this crap came out of my skin. I believe our research is conclusive. This is the best iodine out there. And I know this for a fact. Nobody else has got iodine based on these pure crystals, ladies and gentlemen. This is innovating. This is trailblazing. And the best part is it helps fund INFOWARS.com, the radio show, the TV show, the whole media operation promoting true libertarian ideas. For a limited time, experience the ancient power of Survival Shield X2. Take advantage of this unprecedented 30% off Super Detox Special at INFOWARSLife.com.
Dan Badandi for the INFOWARS Nightly News. Last year we did a special in-depth report of Fort McClellan troops being poisoned by Monsanto. There were over 700,000 U.S. military veterans who served and trained at Fort McClellan, Alabama, not to mention the many citizens who live in Anniston, Alabama, who were all victim to the witch's brew of deadly toxins, radiation, nuclear waste being dumped there by Monsanto and also our federal government. The EPA closed the base in 1999 because many now deem the base as the most toxified place on the planet.
Just one of a fast-growing number of former soldiers who have come forward claiming exposure to toxic chemicals on the base has caused not just cancer, but other horrible health problems.
We see so much death.
Then there's Anniston itself. The city is toxic. Chemical giants Monsanto and Solutia have shelled out more than $1 billion in damages and cleanup costs after the massive plant on the other side of town dumped tons of dangerous PCBs into the air, ground, and water for decades.
Normally a bill needs 3 to 4 co-sponsors to be heard in Congress. As a bill was established here in Rhode Island last year, H.R. 411, the Fort McClellan Health Registry Act, and Congress refused to hear the bill. And thanks to INFOWARS.com, the video going viral, the bill has now well over 30 co-sponsors and is causing a huge uprising in Washington and along with the veterans. And Congress still refuses to hear this. Now we got a gentleman from California who's going to tell us what he's going to do to bring this to the next step and right to the heels of Congress. And we're joined right now via Skype with Ted Melvin Jr. from California.
Hi, my name is Ted Methvin Jr. I live in Northern California. I'm an independent filmmaker. I was also stationed at Fort McClellan. I did my basic and AIT there February of '89. After I left Fort McClellan, I went to Miesau, Germany, where I served with the 164th MP Company on a NATO site. I left Germany and spent a small time in Fort Sam Houston, Texas, and then I was stationed back at Fort McClellan in 1990 and left there in '91. I didn't know anything about any of the PCBs or any of that stuff while I was stationed there. I found out about it probably 4, maybe 5 months ago, about the exposure, just on the Monsanto level, not to mention the exposure of all the chemicals that the chemical company and the stuff that was there, World War II, the Vietnam, with the Agent Orange and all the stuff they did there. I'm not suffering as bad as most of the people that went to Fort McClellan. I have an anomaly on my femur. I have incredibly high blood pressure. My memory is not very good.
You've seen the video we did last year, the report on Fort McClellan troops being poisoned by Monsanto on INFOWARS.com. And was that one of the videos also that inspired you to take this to the next step?
Oh, absolutely. I saw that. I originally started looking for old Army buddies that I had served with, and I actually ran across that video, the video of Sal and Dennis, and I was absolutely blown away. I could not believe it. So I started digging a little deeper and searching and looking at all the stuff, and then finding the groups on Facebook. It was kind of an aha moment there. I couldn't actually believe that something like that happened, but the more I dug in, the more proof that I found, the more people I spoke to. There's just no denying it. The
bill that was going through HR 411, and I talked about that earlier, how it was met with tons of resistance. I mean, it's got more than enough co-sponsors, and Congress refused to hear the bill. And you mentioned that you also jumped onto another bill as well.
The reason why the Congress doesn't want to pass it is because it doesn't do anything. It's really expensive to do, but all it basically does is set up just a list of people that went to Fort McClellan. And it's a voluntary list. If you want to be on it, then you can be on it. You can get a health exam, and if you're sick, they'll tell you what you can go do. They don't help you. They don't follow up with medical. They don't compensate you for being a service-connected exposure. The new bill that a congressman out of San Jose, California, Congressman Honda, he wrote a bill called HR 4816, and it's basically a sister bill of a Senate bill that's already in Congress called Toxic Exposure Research and Dependent Care. The Senate bill just concentrated on families, like Vietnam-era dependents who ended up getting the illnesses from the exposure that their fathers and mothers got in Vietnam from Agent Orange. So the House bill, the HR 4816, they took that Senate bill and they included the service members in it. So it's a complete bill. The only thing it really is missing is the presumptive status, and it doesn't really specifically call out any certain forts or base that's contaminated. I think it's a good bill to be able to prove, once this documentary comes out, you can prove that you were exposed at Fort McClellan, and then go from there.
I want to talk about this documentary now. I mean, like, I know you got a lot invested in this.
It's emptypipecreations.wix.com, and then a / toxic service is the website. It's a documentary about the soldiers that served at Fort McClellan, and they're telling their story of their illnesses and the resistance that they've got from the VA and from their congressmen and from all these different agencies that just don't believe them. The Department of Defense says that there is no toxic exposure at Fort McClellan.
Even though the EPA closed Fort McClellan down.